Good morning. Aloha from Florida. So last night I jumped on a podcast for a few minutes towards the end with Vika Drazev and some of the pilots and professionals from the Flatten the Curve documentary. If you haven't seen that yet, I can't recommend it highly enough. The name of the podcast is Heliopsychosis. You can figure that out. Anyway, the show last night was about space being science fiction. If you are willing to look at truth, if you're willing to look at actual evidence and not just defend your beliefs, you can quickly find out that NASA and all the other space agencies are faking space. No one has ever been to the moon. Nothing is on Mars. And it's hilarious for people to think and get all excited about, oh, there's a drone on Mars, there's a helicopter on Mars, there's a rover on Mars, but we don't have anything on the moon. Guys, Mars is something like 40 million to 100 million miles away, depending on its alleged ellipse, but the moon is only 238,000 miles away. If space was real, we would have condos on the moon by now, period. Nothing has been to the moon. It is a light in the ceiling. It is not terra firma. It is not solid ground. You cannot walk on it. There are scientists that claim that the moon is plasma. So space is fake. Go look at that podcast from last night if you want more information on it. There was a lot of good information shared. And yes, Fake X, which you would call SpaceX, I call them Fake X, are just as guilty as NASA at faking things. Think about the ISS for a minute. It's supposedly 253 miles away, and it never is able to show much of the alleged ball Earth. But Fake X supposedly launched a Tesla up there, and when you see that, it's not even 100 miles from Earth. They show almost the entire Earth. It's just one of many, many contradictions. If you start looking into whether NASA is fraudulent or legitimate, you will see pretty quickly that they are fraudulent, period. End of discussion. So I had a conversation with a man who worked at NASA for 20 years, and I asked him, because I could tell he was open to some conspiracy type information. I said, hey, is NASA fraudulent or is it legitimate? And he immediately said it's both. What they do at the Cape and launching those rockets, he said that's fraudulent. It's just a show. Their real work is secret, and it's with the military, and you'll never know about it. So yes, NASA gets a huge budget from you and I, from the taxpayers, every year, even every day. They get something like $25 billion a year, and that's not even including all their products. But $25 billion a year just from taxpayers, which is about $55 or $60 million a day, if I'm doing the math right, every single day. And what do we get from them? We get CGI cartoons. We get rockets going up and over and splashing into the Atlantic. We get faking space for $55 to $60 million of taxpayer money every day. So what do they do with the money? I don't know. Probably some kind of black ops or other military exercises or experiments that we don't know anything about. So nothing has been higher than 70, 75 miles, and I even question that. I just say that because one of the rockets that went up fast and spinning incredibly fast stopped all of its forward and angular momentum right about the 73 mile mark. At least that's what they say. I think it's probably more like around 50. Oh, and Keith, what about the ISS? The ISS is up there, and there's people on that, and they're going around the Earth perpetually falling at 17,000 miles per hour. No. The ISS is nothing more than some type of high-altitude aircraft. It's not much higher or further away than a regular commercial jet is. You can barely see a jet at 7 miles away. The ISS is allegedly 253 miles away and only the size of a football field. Angular resolution, if you don't know what that means, please learn about it. Angular resolution says you would never, ever be able to see something the size of a football field at 253 miles away. The ISS, whatever it is only, in my opinion, 10 to 15 miles away, and it is probably flying at 1,500 miles an hour. It could be a mocked up U-2 spy plane or some other aircraft that is made to look like it. And if you want to go deeper down the rabbit hole, it might even be a projection. It could be something like Project Bluebeam. But anyway, that's another discussion. I more buy into that it's just a high altitude aircraft. It is certainly not a space station. And NASA is not a space agency, according to some in the CIA. That's what they refer to NASA as, NASA, not a space agency. They also say that is where the bulk of mind control is being done. So, space is science fiction. We live in an intelligently designed, enclosed system called Earth. We don't know how far the plane goes beyond Antarctica. We don't know what's beyond the Rakia, which is the firmament, which is also a barrier that you cannot get past. Even NASA will have a claim that there's an impenetrable barrier, but they allegedly penetrated it 6 times with no problem back in the late 60s and early 70s. Guys, you've been lied to your entire life. It's time to wake up to reality that we live in an intelligently designed, enclosed system. Don't worry about aliens. Don't worry about a meteor hitting the Earth. A meteor did not wipe out the dinosaurs. There were no dinosaurs. There were some other large animals, probably sea creatures, that were all over. We find their bones everywhere. We also find giant human bones, and that's a massive cover-up with some of the museums, especially the big museum that we have in Washington, D.C. So anyway, that's just some of my opinions today. You can take it or leave it. I suggest you look it up yourself. Don't trust me. Don't trust anyone except for your own research, your own actually learning, not just regurgitating your indoctrination. Please don't do that. You sound so ignorant when you come on my webpage or try to contact me privately and tell me how wrong I am. You just sound ignorant when you are just regurgitating your indoctrination. So, life is good. Enjoy it. Be thankful. Be grateful. And focus on what you want in life. Don't focus on what you don't want. Talk about what you want in life. Don't talk about what you don't want. Take actions toward what you want in life. Don't take actions towards what you don't want. Your thoughts, words, and actions create your life. Go create a good one. Have a great day. God bless.